Na onim lawyer Kwame Kufu.
Martin Gans me share that.
Also mean country say Akuapim tree now can a honto. Also honto na or is Sekasan. Also tell him he's not entitled to distort the Akuapim tree. He, you and I have a duty to protect cultural heritage. Inti Uncle Shea tree the Akuapim tree ni no fan count. Mati mekachire
Kwame Akuapim tree Akuapim fanta na Akuapim tree
Akuapim tree
na enyima fanti won ba o
oh fanti you
oh Jesus Christ
awa I never
fanti won mo
mpa chow if I'm making me pa chow
sisi ya fanti o be minimum
and I'm the yatra fanti na my yatra
fanti here's one for Kweku Baako. This one is from Felix in Adabraka. It says, Chairman General, even though I admit that I love Abdul Malik Kweku Baako, I think it's about time you find a replacement for him on your show. Kweku Baako is behaving like a young lady who's taking forever to say yes to a desperate man's proposal. Tell Felix, point well noted, point well made, point delivered. This one says, today, of all we the uneducated are more than the learned in the country. The reason behind all the lawlessness is as a result of injustice from the judiciary as well. Adam Fofo in Aguna Nyakrom. It is easier and cheaper to break the law than to abide by it. It will cost you 5 cedis to bribe a police officer to drive on the shoulders of the road than to stay in traffic and burn 100 cedis fuel. It is cheaper to spend 2 cedis to call a big man to beg for you than to spend time, energy, and other resources obeying the law. That is Ghana for you. Solo Afari in Awoshi. Here's a sign for the police to rebuild their reputation and stop collecting little monies from poor drivers. Gastiman in Brekum. Let's see. Okay. Have we read this one? Okay. Kwame, in all of this, my surprise is how quickly the police put the driver and the mate in court on Monday, but cannot do the same to his own after the policeman physically abused the Ghanaian Times journalist, including a nursing mother. The entire police service needs a total overhaul to save the little positive image left. White Bradley in Accra. It seems our leaders there with you now are afraid to go straight to the point, that the police have lost their respect to their drivers because they take too much money from them. Something, Franco. Abdul Malik, your thoughts?
Yeah.
Yes, Diabolic.
Well, driver name mate or policeman me video maybe
feedback
of course video no on its own kakrana me who social media
yeah
it doesn't tell us the full story in terms of how that whole situation was generated maybe or begin from, but whatever the case might be, the assault on the policeman clearly a criminal.
Yeah,
it's unlawful and it's unacceptable. I'm not surprised that police actually or the one Kwesi court, of course. That is the normal course of things or the justice take. But the whole court only beer you being the full brief because chair driver and inmate also by all means be assured there were lawyers. Be assured there were the witnesses you may be about the police from the side also one side. But clearly say police near share uniform or any security, state security operative or share uniform. We expect the citizen be restrained Wokakra. Because to attack him in that form is like you are attacking the state.
You have attacked the state actually.
Yes. And see perhaps a little bit more education, information, conscientization and maybe regardless of police say error or commit error in that situation you don't go physically to attack because there were options so are able to adopt Obama policeman or work for the state error now we are committing could be cured. Or yeah, difficult, or yeah, easy. Yeah, it's easy for us to sit here, analyze things in a dispassionate way, detached from the real situation, and give solutions. But I'm sure that instantly, in the course of hey, sometimes I train Kwame, Oba front, never hand there. I want to say deal with the situation.
Temporary insanity.
It does happen, but on a new excuse for violating the law. Into this specific instance, we'd record because we'd record it. I'm the area restraining so that processes within the legal framework we want to consummate. But I at times more met there. Some of these cases were highlighting to know so the Ghana Sisiano we're almost a state of about indiscipline and impunity.
Indiscipline, impunity, and lawlessness, and what have you.
I mean, this country is relatively very stable and peaceful.
Very.
This country, we are not on the brink of any chaos or disorder. Well, this is my personal opinion. We are Ghanaian. Matra Ghana had check. I feel this country's body chemistry for years. In spite of all the challenges we are a relatively very stable and peaceful nation. That's my verdict on the state of affairs today. I don't believe in those who are heightening that perception of total impunity, chaos, disorder, and insecurity. I don't believe in it.
Chaos under the heavens.
Disorder under the heavens.
Disorder under the heavens.
In those days, very, very deep involved. It's damn nothing. Kwame Hinima.
Oh.
But to my instances over the years, mob attacks on police stations, assaults on police officers, and all the rest. But I researcher, but it take good time. I am a research. We will be right for over the last 20 years. But me to my aggregate ninya book na minkande ye cruise on the brink of any disorder. I don't believe so. Truly, the media, and this is positive for Ghana, the last 20-25 years, but even more so this time because social media so exposure of some of these specific instances of violence and also widespread. And it's good that we have a media, very vibrant, critical media, both social, mainstream and non-traditional. Now, such things, or can cure no church myself, or can deterrence, a culture of deterrence, create. But I'm not ready, especially when it be a statistical evidence or convincing the growing eyes of impunity to the extent that Ghana could be classified as a failed state or a near failed state. We are not. We are a very stable and peaceful country. Now, police also are citizens, especially journalists. First of all, honestly, it has it all unlawful.
Yeah.
No policeman has any business. The law doesn't empower them to do so. I'm not crying. A crisis situation.
Minimum force.
Yes, I'm not too sure in this instance we're able to activate that principle. The trade journalists now, there's no basis. Until the police and official when start, they will take steps.
Many already David Kluka say Monday. It's here.
No, I
I'll say why invite Ghanaian Times journalists to make a statement, and then they will take it up from there.
Yes, and two levels. Minimum the police service or code of service or disciplinary mechanisms will apply. That's internal. But so Kwame Nchoya outright assault.
That's what it seems like. Yes.
Yes, and it's also against the laws. I'm praying there. Apply only the internal mechanism to discipline these policemen for perhaps not behaving in accordance with the code of service. When the stage be sometimes or there you should see policemen prosecuted. What's the police in now, bro? I'm the one say is free.
We're free.
Perhaps was it due to inept prosecution or what? May follow the case in Kwame. But anyway, video na me who don't know bro me know.
Yeah.
But what court he's free. Sometimes it's because evidence na esa with the court. Amba. And
Evidence.
In court, the name of the game is evidence. Sometimes prosecution, either incompetent or inept prosecution, can free a suspect and an accuser or actually seriously guilty. And it would be difficult to blame the law or the courts for that. I'm praying that perhaps the Ghana Journalists Association, the National Media Commission, and other civil society groups will support, good governance in civil liberties. Kwame, some of these cases, sure that the appropriate state agencies in Boko Court now are prosecuting. Because for policemen to openly assault 3 journalists, what's the name? Always check.
No.
Oh yes, Caesarean cry. Tadene affected. She could have died. She could easily have died. Yes, I will recommend there whilst they continue or activate their internal discipline mechanisms. It's about time some of these policemen are sent to the courts and dealt with. Otherwise, Kwame, the history of attacks on police and police attacks on civilians, including journalists, admittedly, new. These days, your media, active media, were exposed, which I say is part of the solution. It's really the police know how we recruit them, how we train them, and even when they are already in the service, constant reorientation. Bobwa. I think I should rest my case here.
You are perfectly right.
The police itself also. Constant reorientation. Bobwa. Abdul Malik Kweku Baako and his thoughts there on 104.3. Kweku Jnr na I like the way my production people wrote this one. Galamsey stroke Anas stroke IMCIM saga. Which body should investigate claims? Police, OSP, or? There are 4 gentlemen here. One of them is a known alleged galamseer.
Kweku Galamsey.
Maybe we should change his name from Abdul Malik to KG. Kweku Galamsey.
We are going to court on the 26th.
Another one,
26th of this month.
Yes. Yako court there twice already.
How na Kennedy Japan?
Sure. Until 26th in Yabakubu. Since I do the final stage, I exchange witness statements na BBA. Now exhibits I will be a woman. Yeah, exchange. I mean exhibits we could see with him. Most of what will be I'm doing the rules of the court so that there is no surprise elements na nyama. Until 26th, I am praying the BBA be move fast. How justice, whose justice vindicates.
For somebody with a thick skin, I want the echo court one part.
Why not, Kwame? You should ask this question. Tell him that I've been maligned left, right, center. I mean, my character assassinated left, right, center. Ibimukra, all sorts of things over the last 30, 40 years. And I always say, look, no problems, just contain it. This one, I decided to make an exception to the rule. For good reasons.
Why?
Me started them with this case, and here now my territory no more, and also no, I'm a case I could or then I'm better than radio, may advocate my case. I'm very cautious, especially if I'm the one who is initiated the case in court. I try to discipline myself. Otherwise, answer na my manager betasi. There are times Be Kweku, be careful. But see,
Yes.
but I can assure you of one thing. Obey the day.
Obey the
Oh, I tell you honestly, to be sweet. Very sweet and smooth in the court of law. That I can assure you. So I'm not commenting on that particular case, but the may comment on my board and I.
Yeah, sure.
Again, the complaint against Mr. Bisu. You know that was it the one I heard on your radio?
Yeah, and I had an interview with him yesterday morning.
Man, me knew how the interview went, but me see the last bit. And again, I'm going to be fair to him. Me in this case, the substance of the complaint now, Tiger Eye are lodged with the Office of Special Prosecutor. I got the impression yesterday he was raising some issues that border on what will happen at the office. But I'm going to restrain myself and not go into the merits or demerits of the documentary. And the complaint are Tiger Eye, that of Special Prosecutor. But there are a few things I'm better make clear and clear quickly. Kwame, there's all this campaign for a long time, for about 3-4 weeks now. There's some campaign on social media, particularly people who appear to be pro Mr. Bisu. Analysis refused to submit the raw footage, unedited video of where he Dambasa. At one stage, the decision was to ignore that propaganda, obviously. But clearly, no. And China me who there Mr. Bisu Nankasa na war or Nankasa so about what there CID for inviting no koi in respect of the law Nanyama, which was fine, and but the Chino or appeal to Anas to hand over the raw footage to the CID, and that really then reinforced the earlier propaganda now all go on social media, and so that they one was supporting, they came back to say, but this is the evidence, this is what we had been saying. Anas and the Tiger Eye won't fire and that was a fallacy, Kwame. As I speak now, in support of the complaint lodged with the special prosecutor, the raw footage now walking is there.
Was submit.
It's special prosecutor so I throw. What throw me who said me that didn't share me pocket in crampo. What throw Tiger Eye for? Okay, there won't be file mono fre.
Pass is Kibia in the papers.
Then Kweku broke my way. Galamsey is kidding our papers in Tetia Monday attended. Papers there. No, I have a personal mind. See, pickpocket. But dust.
I mean, school days. I'm over here with their cash show back pocket. I shall watch in Sundays. I shall.
Yes.
This letter is dated March 11th, 2019. Or addressed to Anas Arime or Anas Tiger Eye. It is signed by Martin A.B.K. Amidu, the special prosecutor. Dated 11th March, but was dispatched from the office on 14th March. And also a complaint against Charles Nanabenyi, Bisu, and Thomas Andy Owusu. Request for the institution of investigations in respect of Mr. Charles Bisu and Thomas Andy Owusu. Your letter dated 27th February 2019 on above subject matter, which was received here on 28th February 2019, refers. This office is ready, able, and willing to commence investigations into the allegations made in your complaint against Mr. Charles Bisu and Mr. Thomas Andy Owusu for any or all suspected corruption and corruption-related offenses after it has studied the information provided in your complaint and stroke request. After the preliminary investigation, the full investigation will require the making of a formal complaint witness statement to the investigators in this office, which can be used to support the case in court. Accordingly, such a complainant and or his witnesses should be persons who have first-hand information, knowledge of the facts about which they present themselves as complainants and or witnesses to support and authenticate the materials presented to the investigators. The suspects will have the right to confront their accusers should that become necessary during the course of the investigations. Accordingly, you may kindly hold yourselves in readiness to assist this office with such persons with first-hand and relevant knowledge of the facts. Kindly accept the assurances of the special prosecutor with the highest consideration. That is where the action is. Then suddenly, Mr. Bisu discloses to the world there the CID are friend to conduct almost the same investigations. To be fair to him, also, I'm the committee now enjoy secretary form one control CID. The CID investigate. But my brother, it's a notorious fact. Some special prosecutor somewhere February 27th, only receiving it 28th. The Tiger Eye were formally complained or lodged a complaint with Office of Special Prosecutor. Unless the interministerial committee are telling us there they were en masse when that thing happened, I don't see why they will ignore Office of the Special Prosecutor. Now we'll call CID. I don't see why the Special Prosecutor no office no a creature of law. Say complaint no so for lay outside their jurisdiction. In can be assured that one can that they are willing, ready, and able to investigate. But I point you to the fact there about the wrongful, and to go somewhere else. And I'm not saying that CID cannot be seized with the mandate to do investigation on this, but they were not chosen by the complainant for whatever reasons. The complainant decided to choose one agency on a one mandate to conduct that investigations. Why the CID on its own or prompted by interministerial committee should decide to do para investigations beats my imagination. Well, Kwame Nimdam and Niwuka say Tiger Eye are yet to receive any letter from CID seeking their assistance or cooperation.
Wait.
Oh, na complaint ben investigating. Have material na investigate. And now documents in the will use. All these years, what I have known, anytime I see a Juma, Lindon is CID more than any group. Over the last 20 years, or man will both the documentary and the raw footage. Oh, look, make it a court judgment in the cocoa smuggling case. They had both, and they took both to the court. And the judge, in passing judgment, said, look here, I'm putting aside the documentary, because documentary, now some embellishments, and you may be church master. For instance, the judge referred to the fact that cocoa trucks cocoa bags had been packed in it, or feed like the village coupons for it. That was to illustrate the cocoa or the revenue Ghana. Into that the document makes that coming. The judge said street lights. We were street lights, but Bush now walk investigation. There were no street lights there. That's documentary. It's done all over the world. That is why he attached the raw footage. The judge decided, and the judgment is here. The judge decided that in passing judgment, I have put aside the documentary because of so and so reasons, and I'm dealing on the basis of the raw footage. And it is on basis of the raw footage, the judge, the passing judgment. And that has been what has been happening all the time. Suddenly, Kwame Mayetando, where's the raw footage? Hey, this is unedited video. The video, as if it's an uneducated understanding of the issue. For propaganda capital, well, I don't think the party.
But party members.
You can say so. Party members,
or social media analysts.
Yes, I'm very precise. These things are things you don't play games with. I'm here to see any official party position on the matter. And to draw a fine line of distinction.
I agree with you.
But Kwame, for propaganda's sake, the sound bites. Perhaps it sounds good. They're out there. running route. Where is the raw footage? Where is the unedited video? All those. Come on. It's ugly noises. Ugly noises.
But is noise all the same?
It's noise all the same. But I prefer ugly noises to a culture of silence. Except that we are striving for responsible speech. That's the middle ground. That is what we are doing. But Kwame, the issues I'm dealing with are not issues that border on the merit or demerit of the allegations contained in the complaint. And for that matter, to come and sit here and do the special prosecutor's work for him. But I'm raising issues there. It is surprising that the CID, even if they claim they were prompted by an invitation from the Interministerial Committee, won't take the recognition of the fact that this matter is already with another agency of state, which is a creature of law. My advice to Mr. Bisu is that he should find his way. The office, I'm sure, is not on Mars. Located, it's somewhere in Laboni.
But what if the office hasn't invited him? Why should he go there?
If I were him, police D. He went there because the minister or the ministerial committee are trauma. Okay, up here on Kwame, you should wait till he receives a letter. The letter I read to you says that the accusers will be confronted by the accused. Yes, so what is his problem on radio, left, right, and center? He's telling his story now. I heard him talking about bribe taker and bribe giver. Did he not say so? Yes.
But it's his right to tell his story, isn't it?
I'm not against him telling his story. I'm not at all. But he shouldn't create the impression that somebody has gone to the wrong forum or the person is hiding something. In telling his story, he's creating the impression today, raw footage being called baby. And then I make an entire
I am pleased confused by what's going on. Kweku Baako rightfully refrained from discussing his case in court. I think he should do same to Mr. Bisu. Kweku is my hero, but I think he must be fair. Not all of us are convinced by Anas's piecemeal allegations and destruction of people's integrity. Sir Gadu's in London.
Kwame.
Yes.
Have I discussed the merits or demerits of the case?
Not yet.
Did I speak Chinese?
Maybe.
My goodness. He wants me to discuss the merits. Make it the petition. I could have gone into it and tell you the portions now. Why you would have a special prosecutor to investigate. I've avoided that. What I have done is to discuss the external elements. For instance, maybe it's a question, Kwame. The question you asked us is whether the police or the CID. That's the question you put before us.
Or the office of the special prosecutor.
Read it out to him.
Police office of special prosecutor, which is which?
We have been asked to interrogate that issue, Sir Gadus. And that's exactly what I'm doing. In any case, have you heard Charles Bisu making his case on air? Why is he not also waiting till he's invited? Why this selective amnesia on your part? I mean, conclude, but let me read that, because in the say then also I allude to it. Okay? And it's also on social media by his defenders. This question of whether the giver and the taker of bribes are both guilty. You see, people have raised it as part of arguing against Anas and asking why Anas has not been arrested. I don't know whether you've read that. It's all over.
On Facebook,
now, Kwame, Tom Anas in the judge's case in the Bible, Professor Michael Kwe, I think, second deputy speaker of parliament. This is the speaker of parliament. Otro Damaji for publication. He brought us a copy and we actually published it. Mami, just about 2 minutes to finish reading this. Maria and I have closed my case. Also, nobody, I'm taking excerpts. Nobody should take seriously modern jurisprudence, issues relating to entrapment and being set up, etc., etc. A thief is a thief. The globalized world has to meet the challenges of corruption, money laundering through trafficking, cybercrime, professional judicial robbery, etc., with fresh legal applications. Not long ago, you could not arrest a president and try him abroad for offenses against his people. Today, Ghana has a Whistleblowers Act, etc. I heard on radio an argument that he who offers a bribe and he who accepts are both guilty. I have two arguments here. If both are guilty, let the judges go and answer their charges, and let Anas go and answer his. Can that prevent the judges from being prosecuted? No. And don't you know that it is a simple practice in criminal prosecution that even among offenders, you charge the person who is the real criminal, the real underlying, and use other persons involved to secure conviction. Second, a crime comprises the actus reus, I hope I pronounced it well, the action complained of, and mens rea, the guilty mind, the evil motive. Both must be present to gain conviction. It may be said that both Anas and the judges did something, that is, giving bribe and taking. Fine. But what was the mind of the judge? Clearly, it was to unlawfully enrich himself, doing something unlawful. Of course, there is guilt. What about the investigator? There was no criminal mind. He has underlined that one. Also called animus criminis. In fact, his mind was noble, to help clear up the controversy of judicial corruption and save Ghana from the collapse of judicial system, which lead people to taking the law into their own hands, as we see today, and the disrespect for judges, including the clean ones. The laws of England, the US, India, and Ghana have been analyzed by this writer, that is him. The developments clearly favor this patriot, and no one should attempt to defend the indefensible and incur the wrath of the people whom justice emanates. India has made great progress in this matter and provides protection for the informants through detectives, so that even if a person enters into a conspiracy, but for the sole purpose of detecting offenders and bringing them to book, she cannot be called an accomplice. Such a person is a mere informant, and her evidence may be accepted without collaboration. The law protects persons, quote, who have joined in or even provoked or instigated the crime as police spies, quote unquote, quote close. It's here.
Mate, better me suggest two questions.
No, maybe like the last one. Also, in the US, jump on. Also, yes, in the US versus Russell, the court upheld a conviction for manufacturing methamphetamine.
Methamphetamine.
Thank you. Even though an undercover agent had supplied some of the ingredients. If a person is predisposed to committing a wrongful act in any event, no amount of entrapment will ensue to his benefit. In the Ghanaian case, it is worthy of note that some judges refused to be entrapped and chased away the possible entrappers. Notably, this led to the subjective test in entrapment cases. This focused on the state of mind of the entrappee, the person who claims to have been entrapped. If greed clouds the mind of a judge and takes money, yams, goats, etc. to prevent justice, he cannot turn around and invoke his devious mind to take any legal advantage and be set free.
Yeah.
On the whole, when a criminal-minded person is ready and willing to break the law and commit a crime to enrich himself, there is no entrapment when an agent merely provides a favorable opportunity for the person to commit the crime. And bottom line, Kwame, I've said this over and over again. 95 to 100% of our national engagement, before even the idea comes or the process starts, is because there is a perception or there is information from people who have been victims of those instances of crime. And then what there was an assemblies or children's home. Mofonomu Widsban would wakoton wa papa. Emma mentioned wa broom in Kofono by heart. BBs were mental home. Doctors now and workers now who will medicines in Yama. You must have some idea. The BBEC, Judge A, Judge B, Judge C, over the years, in Kofoba reporting, the damage or jiska, damage, damn no ye, damn no. Now, you can't just go out and stand on radio and say it. So, first of all, he had a list of about 10 judges whose names had been brought by victims. Some of these victims are even afraid to go public. And they are ordinary people, Kwame. So now what you do, you set up the project. It's like this 10 judges here, victims, see the names are they are targets for investigations. Now, let me add about 10 more and see if indeed all these perception, rumors and things, gossips about them, or a true and not true. And sana enter. And sometimes, some of the people involved in the case, the defendant or the plaintiff, and then the lawyers and then the court staff. You look at them and you see which of them you can recruit. You see, I'm doing too much disclosure. But
we leave it there.
I'm doing too much disclosure. But anyway, there's an uneducated
revealing some procedures you can use.
Understanding of the process. So the man already there's out there the information, and truly the thing the people are informing him about are happening. But how do you prove it?
How do you prove it, for example, in that Charles Bishop, and also Scan was a man, no Oyada, on Comodim, worry or you, Juma Chechi, worry, and also Chairman went to me say, Yanfei more.
Now, tell the special prosecutor that I will not comment on that, Kwame. You are going to make me violate my own principle.
Also, your party
because if I do comment, I know what the petitioners will tell the special prosecutor.
Okay.
Based on the evidence available to them. I know. But it would be so wrong. I will not discuss the substance of the petition and the merits or demerits. I won't do that. But here, Charles is doing it. And Sergadus didn't hear that one.
Leave Sergadus.
You're cautious, careful, and restrained, on the Sergadus thing. And then he makes it look as if I'm behaving the same way Charles Bisu is behaving. No, I was very careful. Have
you asked the president that you stop shielding people like Charles Bisu? Because he's reported quite wide. What's the Kweku Baako accuses Nana of shielding corrupt appointees of government?
Me a journalist. In him there, me one principle. I do no peer review of media reports or fellow journalists because I might turn out to be a hypocrite in that sense. In the sense, I may try and make mistakes. Over my 30 or so years. I started journalism in 1979.
So it is possible that your stand on Anas you could be making mistakes as you go along.
What do you mean by that?
I've
worked with Anas for how long? I virtually trained him.
I know
my boy. Okay? I know him. I'll stand up for him. I'll vouch for him. Because I know him. He will not mind me say he's my boy. He's no longer a boy, actually. He's even more famous than I am.
What if he has misled you?
Oh, impossible.
Why not so impossible?
Impossible.
He's misled you.
If Anas has a challenge, if he thinks he's made an error here and there, I'm the first person he will tell. Say, sir, this. If I'm from Bombay, I'm from you. Because he's no longer a kid. He's a big boy, big man, more famous than Kweku Baako.
What if Ori Bibi and Ori mislead you to get you to do this?
I think he would never dare do that.
How sure are you?
Oh, Kwame, he wouldn't dare there. He wouldn't dare. He wouldn't dare.
You trust him very well.
I do trust him. Look, me a lawyer still. You give me enough, and you come. You know that. That's one of my weakness. I'm a loyalist.
What if he's playing on your weakness, Kweku?
So one day it will come out, won't it? And he knows what he will lose. So he won't do it. Look, I have to be honest with you. Me trust him. Me can't be a saint or a perfect. Me a saint.
Well, I know you.
You know where my weakness is.
I know, and we'll leave it there.
Yeah. Adam and Apple.
Not this morning. It's too early.
So, but my man, very clear. Mr. Bisu will have that opportunity to defend himself at the special prosecutor's office and possibly at the court. I don't see the big deal at all. To be honest with you,
Minjim, two messages that may excite you. One from Samuel Brian Boabing says, didn't Anas and Tiger PIPI petition more than one investigative body during the number 12 expose? Anyways, on a light note, Mr. Kweku Baako has been using intellectual protracted intercourse and premature ejaculation for some time now. Can he translate all of that to chi or gam? He's confusing quite a lot of people.
He asked me a similar question on his word.
Oh, I see.
And I like his sense of humor.
And then this one from Chief Binding. Please welcome Senior Kweku Baako and tell him, I personally have missed him. I want to borrow his ejaculation word and insert it into his own submission about those making the ugly noises and deliver a political baby on the subject matter by next week. So we tell him to be on standby. I am enjoying the show in one corner.
Brian is statement, I didn't answer it fully.
Yeah.
Because he raises another interesting point there.
Mm-hmm.
Didn't the Tiger Eye petition the numerous groups near the man?
Yeah.
They did.
He says, I should tell you, yes, I am a fanty.
Oh, interesting. It's in a sense of humor here today. I think we have a friend there. Yeah, Kwame.
Yes.
They did. But in this instance, they petitioned only one group.
Okay.
Only one agency.
Special prosecutor.
Yes. So what petition CID, next special prosecutor, next CID invite Charles Bishop, who would complain?
So it's case by case.
It's a simple matter. They use their discretion and petition the office of special prosecutor. That is where the key is.
Tell him that I said I am convinced by what he has said. Masresa, ugly noises indeed. But I like your new name for him, KG, Kweku Galamsey. Loyalist for life.
I'm dragged to court for contempt. But that's okay. That is why the place to cure that is the court of law.
Mm-hmm.
Here we laugh over it.
Mm-hmm.
On radio, on TV, the base coffee shop or anywhere else, you come and you say Kweku Galamsey, we laugh over it.
Greet Kweku Baako for me. Tell Kweku Baako that in spite of everything that he has said about special prosecutor, Manchester United will soon be 6th. Nana has your jury.
He's another guy who's he's also been dealing with me. After 2 days ago, it was a comical nonsense. I had used it on Asampa. So he came and said, Kweku Baako can't tell Charles where to go. Let me say free speech. Long live Ghana's democracy.
And also catch the comical nonsense.
Yes.
And you used it first.
I used it first. So he put it there. It's fine. You see, they are containable. Yes, really, it wasn't libelous, it wasn't slanderous. Yes, the young man wanted to give me a counter punch. I've received the punch, all right.
And you received it as comically nonsense.
You received a punch from Sampine.
Now, has the CID requested the raw footage from Anas? Chairman General.
They haven't.
When I was pushing for Mrs. Charlotte Osei to be sacked, my editor-in-chief, Abdul Malik Kweku Baako, was also defending her. In spite of this, he never doubted my loyalty to him. And his trust in me has never wavered. That is what it is, Gordon Asaribedi Akun.
It's true. Huh?
I remember that fight.
All out against Charlotte.
And you were all out for Charlotte.
Damage, both on radio and television, on any newspaper.
ABC.
Occasionally, I'm a friend. Let me say, look, let's compare notes. We debated, we argued. Let me say, fine. You are entitled to your position. And never for one moment can they stop it or even leave my paper. No way. You can't do that. That's not how you grow young, determined people like God in them. And my brother, we're smarter than us. Say, baby, I won't fee by, baby, I'm telling you, don't underestimate this new generation. See, I mean, many problem with those things.
Tell Alote
I'm capable of rebutting and defending myself. I'm damn capable of doing that. Ask
Alote Jacobs and Kweku Baako what happened with Wolves. It looks as if Kweku Baako has refused to talk to anybody at coffee shop since Saturday. Jimmy.
Miss, I'm not talking football. That be sending me some Costa B. Autism. Let me say, my man is one line. Me say, I'm not talking football until further notice. Also, don't worry, we'll talk for you.
Please ask Kweku Baako whether he remembers apologizing after being misled that Tiger Eye collaborated with the BBC on number 12 expose, Gideon D1.
I was not misled. What I had said was that BBC were co-sponsors. It turned out they were not co-sponsors because you know what sponsorship means? It means they paid some money.
Yeah.
I was wrong there. Nobody misled me. I came to that conclusion because I said I was dealing with the BBC for now when they announced buying. They came to me. They are now working for BBC Africa Eye. not the mainstream BBC, but there's still connection. So what I cured, the correction I made was to the effect that there was no sponsorship from BBC. That's different from talking collaboration. At the end of the day, BBC will show Ina.
Yeah,
and you know they issued a statement, the BBC Africa Eye. They issued a statement saying that they worked with Anas on the project. So the problem was I haven't jumped the gun to say that sponsorship. Strictly speaking, I was wrong, and I retracted and apologized to the good people of this country. I have no fear retracting and apologizing.
Especially when you engage in intellectual and premature ejaculation.
Yes. Intellectual masturbation, all that. My mistake, make it perfect. In this age, Kwame.
Yeah.
There are many times I've committed errors, some grave, some very light ones. And each time I've been called upon and I've been shown evidence that Kweku, you were wrong, the first thing you do is to say that, yes, I was wrong.
What if you refuse to admit?
Have you heard me do that before?
No, I mean
Media Commission, when we were wrong, it will be so. They wrote to that effect. First thing, we are a mistake, straight away. My order retraction and apology. It's a record we have at the National Media Commission, the Crusading Guide and the New Crusading Guide. I have no fear for that. When you're problematic.
Let me take comments. But this one says, okay, G. After your long holidays and rest, you still say position. Oh
no, I can't change. Fortunately, propaganda the way change.
Propaganda the way change.
I'm change.
Linguistics were friendly fossilization.
It's too late. It's too late. Look, there are many ways I find difficult. First, let me conscious. Kwame. Why am I conscious about this?
Position.
See, Kwame on change.
Position the worker.
Call me grave.
But don't worry, your grave is not near you yet.
Another 30 years.
Very good.
By the grace of God.
Amen. You go like Professor J. Chinkiti at 97.
I mean, sometimes you're vegetable or you.
But vegetable be at the last 1 month.
The only thing that you've been one that actually you can Kwame, it's a vagina. Dear Pulibio. Yango Bosin, Chabaka said, you're very blasphemy.
Pojoman Casa. Oh, yeah. When you hear that?
Why you
Why did you?
Stay higher on my mind.
Also, there be our navy.
No. Just an awesome.